morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever the case may be, wherever you're tuning in from. Yes, people of Anfield Index might be thinking, hold on a minute, Grizz Khan saying that line. Isn't that Dave's line? Dave who does Daily Reds, Dave who does everything on. He's actually on holiday at the moment. Thank God he's out of my ears and hair. That's actually not Dave's line. That's actually my line. So when Dave does come back, I will actually ask him. I have got copyrights to that. So I don't know where he nicked that from. Well, I don't know where he nicked it from. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever the case may be, wherever you're tuning in from. That was Grizz Khan's line. You understand? You better be understand. People, it's been a while. Red Room is back. We've missed you. Hope you've missed us. We took a week off, I think. Yeah, 1 week in between. And obviously we know what the reasons that I took it off was for the tragedy that occurred a couple of weeks back now, 10 days ago or something like that, 12 days ago. But Liverpool played football over the weekend, and if the players themselves and the coaches and everyone else involved were out there, I feel as though we should be out there as well. So we're back. Red Room is here. Hope you guys are well. As you can see, I have squad. I have the squad here, as Rafa Benitez used to say. I have Lewis beyond the cup, who's on every stream, you name it. Guy is working overtime. I think you had a haircut, Lewis. Can you
tell? You can see the
Can you elaborate?
The Mo Salah coming through. Gonna need some work on that soon.
Excellent. The Mo Salah coming through. That's it, man. Off to Turkey soon.
Mate, get me on the plane. I'm there in a heartbeat.
Good. We've got Mo in the building. Welsh Mo's in the building. How we doing, Mo? You okay?
Yeah, all good. Can't wait to get going. Can't wait to start talking all things Liverpool.
Good. You will never walk alone. Foodie is in the building. Good evening, gents. Looking forward to the discussion tonight. So, I'm not gonna lie. And someone I like discussing it with is Mike. Mike's in the building as well. Mike, how are you?
Yeah, boys. Yeah, no, I'm really well, thank you. I was a little bit sick this morning, but the Isak news helped clear the nose and throat pretty quick. So I won't say anything more, sorry.
I like it.
Yeah, it's a cure-all.
I like it. So you wasn't feeling...
You know what?
By the way, guys, Lewis pulled out. Mike pulled out, sorry. Mike wasn't going to come on today. All right. But now we know the reason why he is on, because the Isak news has cheered him up.
You know what it was? You know what it was? This morning I woke up, I wasn't feeling great, but I was like, yeah, I'll be there. And then obviously I was like, actually, I can't make it, whatever. We subbed someone in. And then the Isak news came out, and I had to do a video for anything Liverpool for that. And while I was making it, I was like, I actually feel really good now. I don't know whether it's the euphoria, I don't know what it is. But I feel ready to talk about it. So when you and Ben asked me, I was like, yeah, I can definitely do it,
It's definitely the euphoria, isn't it, Ben? Euphoria around Liverpool started off with an absolute bang. The window, the signings, the three brilliant signings got us all excited and gassed. And then we were hit with one of the worst bombshells. People always want a bomber, but they don't want a bomber like what we received in the last couple of weeks. That was one of the most horrific bombers that we've, as Liverpool fans, have had to deal with. But no one really knows when it's a good time to be normal again. And I don't think we're going to be normal again for a fair bit. But it was good to see some sort of normality back, wasn't it, with Liverpool playing football?
Yeah, and today as well, I don't know if you guys follow the socials, the boys look... Obviously, they'll never be over it. It's their friend, it's their brother, it's their teammate. But it looks like they've sort of got that game out of the way, which was always going to be the first, big hurdle of the process. And now, you see him smiling and stuff. You see Salah with a smile on his face, Florian Wirtz with a smile on his face. And I felt for those new signings because moving to a new club, especially the goalkeeper, Mamardashvili, he's completely on his own. He's got no national team friends. He's got nobody that he knows here. And that is by far the worst circumstances you can move to a new club in. And I think it's the right thing to give the clubs so much credit for dealing with it the way they have, which they were always going to. The players, the backroom staff, all of those guys. And like Slot said, I think he's given the players the choice whether to train or not. And he said it's up to them whether they laugh, whether they cry, Whether they're happy, whether they're sad, is completely up to them. So I think that obviously trickles through to the fans and to us here right now. I think it was absolutely the right decision for you to take some time off, mate. Unfortunately, it was my birthday the day after Jota passed away. So for me, it was like just a roller coaster of emotions. I've gone from the lowest of the lows to, you know, my family trying to hype me up, and it's like that's the last thing I want to think about, to be honest. But we're here now. We'll never get over it. But like we said on Twitter, Grizz in the week, we can walk on through it, and all of us here together, the guys in the comments and at the ground and all of that, we will do our best to navigate through this situation.
Do you know what? It was very well said, and you know, like, I come to you, Lewis, and you know, when we talk about Jurgen Klopp, and I'm actually, guys, I swear to you, I'm a fucking grown ass man, right? I've got goosebumps, and while I'm talking to you guys, and the hairs, many hairs on my back, are all standing up when I'm thinking about how Jurgen Klopp would have reacted in this situation. And then you think to yourself, no one could have reacted like that. You know, no one could as good as Klopp in those kind of situations if he had to deal with that kind of tragedy. But then Arne Slot spoke, and you know, he made us feel, I don't know about you guys, but he made me feel so good. And he's the one who actually got me out of my slumber, depression. I couldn't talk about football. I was grieving, man. I was like proper down and out. But just listening to Slot speak about the whole scenario and situation got me going again. I don't know how you feel.
I mean, it's such a world we live in where someone who you admire on a weekly basis and someone who you idolize and think that, you know, you never expect the euphoria of seeing them play and providing you with those moments that it's ever going to end, and just that, you know, like it's life, something that we can take for granted a lot, and it can be over in a flash, and it makes you take stock of everything. And I think that what Ben said there about it's people have come into this team at a time where things seem at the lowest, but in actuality, I think this could be a true representation of us as a family, not as a football club, but as a family. We're showing togetherness. We're showing that, like we've shown in the past, when things are at their worst and things are at their bleakest and deepest, that we unite and we come together greater than anyone on this planet can. And in the midst of tragedy, there's been such an outpouring of love and emotion. And every single day that I get to live and breathe and support this club and see this club play, I'm proud, and I'm so happy to be Scouse. I'm so proud to be part of this community and this family that we've all been a part of for our whole lives almost. And there's no right or wrong way to deal with grief, but I think the way that Slot has expressed his emotion, the way he's come in a time which has seen him go through tumultuous terrain, contract issues, title pushes, restrictions in transfers, and every single task that he's been faced with and every single obstacle, he has gone through it with flying colours. And I think he's perfectly conveyed how we as a fan base have felt. And I am so proud to bleed red and be part of this club, especially in these past few weeks. And Jota would not want what happened to him to become a deterrent. He would not want it to be a source of negativity. He would want to be remembered in the best way possible by us pushing through it together and showing love and affection to one another and going on and pushing on. And we saw that against Preston. We see it day in and day out. Those lads smiling and carrying on with their lives. The best way to honour Jota is to live your life and to be a great person and a great family man. And I think that every single person in this club and fan base and in this team is doing that on a daily basis. So I'm so proud to be a part of this family every single day at the minute.
Huge shout out and respect to Preston as well, by the way. Huge
absolutely. Absolutely. It was impeccable. I don't know if any of you went. Do I know any of you that went? But sort of from viewing it, Mo, it was impeccably arranged, organized. No one really knows how to handle these kind of situations, like, you know, and you hope to God that you don't have to handle a lot of these or many or these situations ever again. But it seemed as though it was just so beautifully organized and arranged, right? And respect was like out of this world.
Yeah, and like Ben said, you know, credit to Preston for doing such a wonderful job. It came across sincere, real, and you could see there was so much emotion, not just on the pitch, but in the ground itself. And different kind of energy. It's hard to explain, I guess. But look, they were professional. Both sets of players. They both didn't let the event get to them of what's happened, and they both went out and did a job. And at the end of the day, despite what's happened, I'm not saying there's no timeline. It could take a week, it could take a month, it could take years. But unfortunately for us, football doesn't stop. Football continues, and the football world, clubs around us, they continue. So we have to, pick ourselves up. And I think that was a really good start with the Preston game. They showed maturity. They showed, great football was played, and the celebrations were all dedicated. So all in all, it was a really good. And touching on what Ben said earlier today, watching the Anfield inside Anfield training video, it gave me a lot of confidence. I thought to myself, okay, yeah, because I think we're all worried it's either going to go, one or two ways. It's going to hit them, and we're going to really start really bad, or it's going to galvanise them. I just got the feeling after watching that video today. I know it's early doors, but I got the feeling it's going to galvanise them, and I just you can see the team spirit there, and the new ones are bedding in already. With Jeremy, being a laugh that he is. So yeah, I'm coming out of today feeling a lot more normal.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly what Slot said, didn't he? Mikey, I don't know your views and how you felt the last couple of weeks and how you felt now, and how you feel.
I mean,
get your thoughts as well.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think everyone's covered it really well. I think it's hard to. It's a hard one, really, because it's like when you see someone you've grown up watching on television, whether it's in movies, music, or football, whatever you're really attached to, and they pass. It's a very hard thing to explain because you haven't met the person, but you've got to know them so well. Like Jota, whether it's been interviews, whether it's been inside training, whether it's been on the pitch, through celebrations of a goal or reaction to going behind, there is a connection that you build there because they represent the club you love, they represent the city you love, and it's a very hard thing because it's what is that relationship? Is it parasocial? Is it more than that? And it's a hard thing to kind of wrap your head around. And what I will say is I struggled to find the right words when talking about it because at the end of the day, he's clearly a phenomenal guy, a massive family man, and he's someone that the players are going to miss. I really think the players, the coaches, and the family, obviously the family first, and the kids, they are the priority over everything. Like they knew the man in ways that we will never know him. And I can only really hope that we have people inside the club, whether it's therapists, whether it's just care work in general for the players, for the staff, for the coaches, for the kitchen ladies, whatever it may be, and just to make sure people are looked after. Because I think, I can't speak for any of you guys, but I know when you experience loss, people all deal with it in different ways, whether it's positive or negative, and it goes on for 100%. A lot longer than a couple of weeks, So I just really hope that everyone in the club, and of course the family first, gets the care and the love that they need for months and years ahead.
Yeah, no, well said, all of you guys, and I share those sentiments. But as I said, we took I think we all agreed we took a week off last week, but we're back. Liverpool are back, and football was back. And Ben, let me just address a few. Welcome everyone who's joined us today. Thank you very much for joining us. You already know the house rules. Like, subscribe if you haven't already. PID's in the building. He says, "Come on, people, smash the likes," and he's got a couple of Swedish flags. My resident Elvis Presley lookalike Ganto's in the building. He goes, "Big up Grizz and panel in the chat. When you getting your channel back up and running?" This week, promise you, this week. And then Ganto agrees with you. Says 100% Mike, priority is the family, then support for all the staff there. And look, Ben, it's true. Like I struggled watching Mo and Virgil be distraught. That made me worse. It made me feel even more emotional when I saw the players because, like you said, they're brothers, man. They're family. They're brothers. They're teammates. They're just soulmates. Like they see each other day in day out. And suddenly not having Jota, there must have been, I don't know. I have no words. But today, watching them play football, got me a little bit back in the sort of groove and mood, so to speak, to talk about it. And I guess, we've got to talk about the friendly. First preseason in the can. Preseason friendly in the can. 3-1 to Preston. Overall thoughts? I thought the lads looked right. You know, it looked a bit tight. I thought it's going to be a non-event from a football point of view, but it was okay.
Yeah, I think first of all, credit for the lads for getting out there, because I think all of us here would agree if they decided that they didn't want to play it, we wouldn't we wouldn't have anything against that. I wouldn't have wanted to play it in those circumstances. So fair play to them all for getting out there and doing the professional job which they do. I agree with you, Grizz. I thought it was a lot better than it could have been. Because I didn't know how it would affect them, how it would affect their performance. I didn't know how much they trained, fitness-wise, where they're going to be. I thought it could be a bit all over the place, to be honest. But no, you're right. I think they did a really good job to just sort of kick things off, but not give too much away, not do too much in the first game, but sort of go out there, show, what we can do, what we might be doing next season. Obviously, a few standouts, which we'll get into, but Rio was probably the main one. I think it's not really a surprise to us because we've all seen the clips. I was at the Accrington Stanley game when he played that game, and he was really good then as well. The kid's dynamite. You can see he's got immense talent in his feet. The ball sticks to his feet like glue. And it's crazy to think he's not even 17 yet as well. But he's obviously the main standout in the first half. But yeah, I think overall as a team performance, as far as the preseason goes, the first one where they've all been away, they've all been doing different things, and then obviously with the circumstances we're in, did a really good job. And Gio Mamardashvili, that when he came out to punch that ball away, I felt like that was a moment where we're like, yeah, you know what, we've got this crazy absolute mountain of a man here, which is probably going to spot conversation as well, because I've got a little theory of what might happen in the not too distant future with the goalkeeper.
Hit us with it.
I feel like this could be Alisson's final season. I really do. I feel like he'll play under Alisson for a season, and then I don't know why. It's not based on anything. It's just an instinct to have. I feel like Alisson might go next summer, but that's for another discussion. Frimpong was decent. Kirkes looked very good. I feel like when we master those little 1-2s, that one moment where he gives the ball to Gakpo and Gakpo overhits the pass. But once we nail that, it's a different sort of fallback to what we've been used to last season. I feel like we're going to be a force to be reckoned with. Obviously, there's a question marks over the defense and how we're going to defend teams when they do that to us. But at least going forward, we look like, probably the most dangerous team in the league, and we knew that anyway from winning it. But yeah, a lot to be excited about. Obviously, we've not even seen the main man that we signed so far, because there could be another one coming in, which we'll get onto. But we've not even seen Florian yet, which again is the most exciting thing for me.
Lewis, anything stood out to you? We're not going to go through sort of events of the game as such and, sort of situations, but, a couple of nice goals, a couple of emotional celebrations. What was your main takeaway from the two, obviously the two different halves of sets of players as well?
I love it. I just agree with everything that Ben said, to be honest. This very easily could have been a case of fatigue setting in. This could have been emotional drain. We could have seen a very poor full 90 minutes. And in all honesty, a lot of credit does need to go to the lads who, even the new signings, they've come in and they fit in perfectly. I thought Jeremy Frimpong, we saw his strengths on full display. His pace is ridiculous. Like, he looks like a real threat going forward. He looks capable defensively. Kirkes throwing himself about like it's no one's business. They're setting a standard, I think, and they've come in with the full intention of, we're not here to go for rotation. We're not here to go for fighting for the first team space. We're here because we want to be first teamers. And they made a great account of themselves. It was great seeing Mamardashvili in there. Honestly, as well, the biggest takeaway, and I know that we keep circling around it and we'll get back to it, is how much Nunez was able to sort of change the narrative around him, even if just for a day, because we saw the strengths of Nunez on display. His pressing was relentless, his energy, like he seemed to fit almost faultlessly to a point. And there's a lot of people now suggesting, look, he could be here next season. He could be this could be the revelation. We saw him score a hat-trick against RB Leipzig in the season we signed him. But in all honesty, I thought he was stand out in that match. He looked really, really composed. And it's amazing to see just how fluent everything is, the movement. No one seemed to have position. Chiesa going out onto the left looked really good, and Gamoa was happy coming inside. Nunez was going out wide. Like, there's such a fluidity to the way that we're attacking, and it's incredible to me just how well everyone's managed to gel together in the time that they have. And like Ben said, we haven't even had Verts come in yet. Like, it's only going to get better, and I'm just... Maybe it's just everything that's happened recently. And obviously, the beginning of the match, we saw the wonderful celebrations that we did, but this just felt like such a special occasion. If you go back a year or two and think, oh, Preston preseason, it is what it is, preseason game. The excitement that I felt just for getting to watch us kick a football again, mate, I was over the moon. So, yeah, really, really happy with what I saw, to be honest.
Guys, as usual, beautiful, brilliant support. Even though we've been a week away, I think there's about close to coming up to 4,000 watching on Twitter, 400 on YouTube. Brilliant, brilliant. I don't know how many on Facebook. I don't even check Facebook anymore. I don't know if you guys do. I'm sure you guys do, actually. Mike definitely
Didn't even know it was still a thing.
Yeah, Mike definitely.
Get out of here.
Liar.
Ben, I come to Scouse Mo. Welsh Mo, I beg your pardon. Scouse Mo, not in the building today. Welsh Mo, I know Lewis has touched on Nunez, but I wanted to sort of focus on maybe another aspect of is he staying, is he going, what's the future for him? Chiesa, given a start, a very rare start, I know it's not a game to say did he do enough to think if there's any shift in thought or anything like that, but was there anything?
I just think shop window start that was for me. Like, you can play 90 minutes now, that kind of thing. We can start him now. And he's fit, And I just think, we'll see a lot more of him in the next few pre-seasons, probably games as well, purely just to get him in the shop window. And that's my belief. I just don't think Slot fancies him for some reason, and I think there's other players he'd rather get in. And that, I may be wrong, but that's just what I took out of it. He didn't. There was some nice touches, but I just think he looked a bit off the pace a little bit, like pace wise. He's lost his pace a little bit, isn't he, from his injuries? But yeah, I just think he was in the shop window myself.
If he was in the shop window, well, we know Nunez. I guess we people have been telling us Nunez Bomba. Where is it? Where's it going? Where's it going? Nunez Bomba. AR Tizzy says.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mo tells us what the bomber was. Napoli have informed Liverpool tonight that Darwin Nunez can be considered off. Nunez is still expected to leave LFC this summer, but just not to Napoli. Yeah. Mike, you watching Nunez the other day. What did you have any mixed emotions?
I had
did you think Rimatanda? What are you saying?
No, listen. You know what I thought back to, Grizz? And all of us in here can remember it. Do you remember when Lucas Leiva cut his hair and then suddenly became brilliant? I remember in my head, I was looking at Nunez and I was like, I'm gonna get absolutely sucked in here. I know I am. And I did absolutely. Until the final whistle, I was sitting there going, I could do one more season. I could see myself. Maybe Verts could unlock him. No, but no, genuinely, I think, listen, it's time to wash our hands. And I honestly think it'll be good for him too. I think he's one of those players that, not similar to, but I think of players like Iago Aspas or maybe Luis Alberto, where clearly players that had quality did not work at Liverpool. They went elsewhere, went to a different league, and it landed. And I think the Italian league, to be honest, I even think the Spanish league would be really good for him. I do think maybe a Saudi trip is what will end up happening just because of the money involved. But it wouldn't surprise me if he did 6 months there and then moved to Italy or Spain.
Yeah, I mean, that's what seems to be the consensus right now, guys. Napoli were never going to be able to sort of raise that type of funds, that money. And then it's over to Saudi. But I think the complication, Ben, with the Saudi stuff is, and we'll get on to sort of Diaz situation as well. I don't know about you guys, but do you see Nunez wanting to go to Saudi? I think Napoli would have been the move for him, right?
Yeah, he was open in January. Sorry to cut across, Ben. He was open to it in January. That's one thing I would keep in mind. He was open to Saudi in January, but Sorry, Ben, go ahead.
No, that's fair enough. I forgot about that, to be honest, Mike. But I did feel like that is probably the move that he wanted out of all of the clubs that are available, and it's probably not sport for choice, and there's probably only a few clubs that he could go to right now. But at the end of the day, right, I don't think he's great, and I don't think he's been great. He's had great moments and stuff, and he's been hot and cold, whatever. But I still like him as a person. I still think he's great. I still shout his name when I'm at the match and stuff like that. So ultimately, as a human being, I do hope that he gets what he wants, like, ultimately. But at the end of the day, if Napoli is the team he wanted and they can't cough up the cash, it looks like at this moment he is going to have to go to Saudi. And you know what? He could probably just go there for a year or 2 seasons.
Like Michael said, Mike said the same. Yeah,
28. Would he be maybe 29 at that point? Still young enough to go and do something in Europe. So, yeah, it's just unfortunate the way that, you know, we were so desperate to make this signing happen and for it to end the way it's ended. But I think, like Mike said, you know, it's just time to sort of cut our ties. You know, it's not worked for him. It's not worked for the club. We invested a lot of money. And if we wait any later, we're not going to get anywhere near as much money as we can now. So, yeah, it's just best for both parties. I think for him mentally as well, you know, the constant online stick that he gets from a certain section of the fan base is not right. And, you know, I don't care who the player is, how bad they might perform. When they put on that red shirt, they're one of us, you know, you back them. And other clubs might do this DMing the players with, you know, nonsense and abuse and stuff like that, but that's not us. And, yeah, so for him mentally seeing that sort of thing, yeah, I think it's probably best that he does find somewhere else.
Oh, boys. Sorry, Ben. I've just put it in a little private there. There is a bit of breaking news. I'm not going to force us onto it. We can wait for it. But I'm just letting you know. I'll put it in the private.
You're teasing everyone.
I am. I'm just a little tease. What can I say, Lewis? My God.
Himothy. Is that Himothy? Yeah, Himothy says, breaking. Bomba. LFC are prepared to smash their transfer record for the second time as Alexander Isak's Newcastle future was cast into further doubt. It would be a new British record fee in advance of 125 million. Is that really breaking news, guys?
Nah, Grizz, let me put it to you, and this is the eternal optimist in me, right? 2 parts of that. Firstly, cast into further doubt. We heard that apparently his agents had conversations with Eddie Howe about a month back. Secondly, would Liverpool be prepared to spend 125 million on a player that didn't want to join us?
Hey, it genuinely there's I got slated for
before we tuck in, right? It's funny, isn't it? We're trying.
He's got me excited.
Right? We were trying to sort of work our way into the conversation about the main.
I'm so sorry.
I tried to be the hostess with the mostest, right? Stay calm and everything. Well, Mikey just went whoa in the middle of who was talking. I can't remember who was talking. Anyway, you know.
We're just talking about Nunez, to be fair. It's not that.
You know what it is? It's like, you know when you're at a buffet, Grizz, right? And then you see the dessert section at the end, you're like, no, I've got to walk this whole queue here. I walked straight to the buffet. I barged people out the way.
Mike, you're a film guy, aren't you?
I am a massive film
guy. Do you know Guardians 2 when he's trying to tell him, right, you just push the button to Groot and he just runs off with the bomb? That's you. Chris is like, right, we'll get to it. And you're like, nah, fuck this, I'm off.
He's just blown the whole agenda. And the funny thing is, hold on. The funny thing is, he effing done the agenda.
Yeah, I wrote the agenda.
So he's ripped it all up, right? He's ripped it all up, torn to shreds, shoved it in the bin and said, I just want to talk about Isak. That's all
I blame Welshmo. I blame Welshmo. It wasn't me.
Welshmo, obviously, we segue from Nunez to the news that Ornstein and Romano kind of just reiterated what's on everyone's tongues. I believe we broke it on Red Room on the first ever show where, I don't know if you remember, I said we will make a bid and target Isak. It now transpires that we will make an effort if there is a slight chance. We can't not be excited about this, right? I'm sure it's number one on everyone's wish list, Alexander Isak, right?
100%. And look, there's no smoke without fire, is there? And it started off with like a tiny little, not even a flicker of a flame a couple of months ago, and now there's proper fire going. So there's big journals reporting the same thing. There's a large section of the fan base who still think it will happen. I think that's probably denial or trying not to believe it. But yeah, I was on that side. Now I'm leaning onto the side of
But the fact is, if it happens or it doesn't happen, I just love the way we're moving, guys.
yeah, 100%. We're going,
Yeah.
we're shopping, we're going for ready-made players instead of projects, like Isak is proven Premier League 20 goals for the last 2 seasons now. Yes, there's a little tiny question mark about his injury, but there's no question mark about his ability in putting the ball in the back of the net, and and that's in a Newcastle team. All respect to Newcastle, great midfield, one of the best in the league, but they haven't got players like Salah or Wirtz of it. I shudder to think what kind of numbers Isak will get for us. I tell you what, it's exciting. And I think the bottom line is, whether it's Isak or not, it's going to be, I think we've narrowed it down to either Isak or Ekitike, isn't it? It's going to be one of the two. We've actually gone to Michael Edwards or Richard Hughes has gone to Newcastle. Okay, well, sell it Isak, or we're just going to take Ekitike off you. So just make your mind up.
Unbelievable at their job.
Yeah, exactly.
They're ridiculous.
To have the balls to play that move is
exactly. It's such a power move. It's unbelievable. Like, it's basically saying, okay, well, we want your best striker. If you don't want that, we're going to take your target from you. So you'll take your pick, innit?
It's ruthless.
We starved for these kind of days, didn't we, Ben? We kind of always on social media was always about, we were the butt of other teams' jokes in terms of have you got any money? Are you gonna buy any players? And they almost used to taunt us with it, like even trophyless teams, right? Used to taunt us. Well, have you signed any players though? Or blah 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 blah. It's just a role reversal, and you've got to put it down to the ownership and the people that they put in charge, because we're like, rival fans hate it when we say this, but unfortunately, hold that. Like, we are pretty much one of the best run clubs around right now, aren't we?
100%. And look, we're still going to let players go, so it's not like people are Liverpool. Spent years
stockpiling, yeah.
But sorry, I think my connection stopped there for a minute. We're selling Harvey. We're looking like Diaz could go. Nunez is definitely gone. So we're recouping a lot of the cash as well at the same time. It's not like we're just spending 1.5 billion like Chelsea have. We are still sticking to the way we've done things. And with the Isak thing, I agree with what Mo said. We knew that there was 3 players, I think, that we were looking at, like, really above all of them. There was Alexander Isak, Hugo Ekitike, and Alvarez very briefly was linked. It was those 3, and I remember seeing that those are the 3 that Liverpool want. They want one of those guys as their forward. And unfortunately for Newcastle, as soon as they put out that they were interested in Ekitike, we're like, hang on a second, we want Isak. So, like Mo said, Isak's inevitably going to leave Newcastle, like, within the next year maximum. He's not going to stay any longer than that. So now, for them, if they don't sell as Isak, they're not going to have their replacement because he'll be in Liverpool. So it's up to them now. Do you want to have Isak for 1 more year and then not have a replacement for the next 5? Or do you want to get Ekitike now, have him for the next 7, and let us have Isak now? What's the best solution for them? So I know what I'd do if I was them, but then again, I would say that. Yeah. So.
Serious power play, isn't it, Lewis? What Ben's saying and Mo's saying. Yeah. Is your confidence growing, or was you always confident that we bring in a striker? And okay, let me word it like this: we were always going to bring a striker in, but then there was doubts about sort of, maybe we're not going to. Maybe we're going to give Nunez a chance. Diaz might stay through the middle, but then obviously the tragic situation with Jota probably means. It was confirmed that we're going to bring a striker in. Was you always of the opinion, Isak or no one? Or do you just trust the nerds? How did you feel about it?
I love trust the nerds. That's class. You know what? I've been given very little reason to doubt the way of which we've been ran recently in terms of transfers. There's very few duds that we can recall over the past near decade. There's been the odd few, definitely, but, other than that, you could name double, triple the amount of exceptional players that we've signed. Isak has always been, I think, pretty much everyone's number 1 target. And it says a lot about his talent as a footballer that people are saying, yeah, 120, 130, sign him, do it. But that's what we need to be as a club now. We're not building to something. We're there. We're at the top. We're at the pinnacle of the Premier League. You've got to strengthen and you've got to sign these top quality players who are going to further your squad, push us to 21 and 7 and 11 and etc, etc, etc. I've said it a billion times. It was never Isak or bust, because I think if we'd got an Ekitike, I think we'd make it work. I think if we got an Alvarez, we'd make it work. But in terms of statement transfer business, what we've done here with Isak and Ekitike, we've slapped it on the table and said to everyone, look who we are. We're back on our perch, and if you want to knock us off it, it's going to take something miraculous. This is pure power play, and we're in a position to do it. And like you said before, people have looked at us as the butt of the joke. Oh, you've got to sell to spend. Oh, you don't really buy that much. You only bought Chiesa last summer. Well, look at us now. We've just signed Wirtz, Kerkez and Frimpong. We're in discussion for Isak. Imagine not being us at the moment. It's been a miraculous 12 months as a club, and to go from losing Klopp to be in this position where we are now shows how well ran we are. Whoever we got in that position, I have full faith that we'd make it work. But if you get Isak, there is no doubt in my mind that he will be a bona fide first team 20-25 goal a season striker in the Premier League alone. I am so convinced that if we get him, 21's on its way, 22's on its way, etc, etc.
Mike, are you in the camp of Isak and only Isak, or do you just want to see and make sure we get a striker in? And is that backup Ekitike in your opinion? Because stylistically they're the same, I'd say. So that makes sense, right? Or is there anyone else in your mind that we could sort of out of the blue go and get if we can't get Isak? And generally, how do you feel about the situation now as compared to maybe a week ago?
I think if you cast back 10 days or so ago, before obviously the tragic news, the way I seen it is we needed to get a striker in regardless. Considering the news from the point of view of looking at the squad and the actual depth of the squad, we're in an interesting position because I feel like we kind of need to sign another forward option anyway on top of the striker. My personal preference and choice would be like an Ollie Watkins kind of vibe, not someone necessarily who's going to be a first teamer. Squad player, he can come on the pitch, potentially get a goal or something for you. Not for first team, just to be clear. Is it Isak or bust for me? No, I like the look of Ekitike. I think, I can definitely see why Newcastle are interested. Very similar mold to what Isak was when they first bought him. But if you're asking preference, I'm all over Isak, absolutely. Is he injury prone? Yeah. But I look at our medical team and the work they got done last year. I think they're fantastic, and I think they would manage him really well. I think we'd rotate the side very well. I think Slot tactically is smart enough as well to manage without him. But having Isak in those games when you're trying to get through a low block, in the same way Gyökeres is going to be very good for Arsenal, by the way. When you're up against a low block and you're almost against two banks of four, having a striker like that who, with one touch, doesn't matter where he is in the box, one touch can find the back of the net. That's the difference between a title and second, third, and fourth, I also think he'd alleviate stress from Salah if you can build up a good rapport from him and Wirtz. You're talking there. There'll be people straight away jumping on the Gerrard Torres comparison, guaranteed. But yeah, man, it's an exciting time. I'm fine with either. My gut instinct, and I said this on a video earlier today, I think we do sign him. I have a really, call it, internal, external, eternal optimism. 3 different eternals for you there. But I have a good feeling that Isak does get over the line, and that's your new number 9 for the season. But once that's done, it doesn't mean business is done. Diaz will move on, and then what do you do with that? I'm sure we're going to talk about that in a moment. But yeah, that's my feeling.
Yeah, I mean, I like the positivity manifestation. At its absolute best there with Mike, guys. Mike thinks the Isak deal does happen, does go through. Obviously, look, we've seen today's reports, and today's reports suggest that Liverpool are ready to smash their transfer record. Liverpool are ready to pay whatever it takes to get Isak if he's up for it, which suggests Isak has to be up for it. But then we beg the question, do we actually go this far without having an indication of what Isak wants? Are we really the disorganized Liverpool that we've been for the last 18 months behind the scenes? We're not. We're back to the old.
What was interesting to me, Grizz? Sorry to cut you off there. The language and what Ornstein used, because obviously people, I think with the Wirtz one and this one, they go, oh, but Ornstein said about Kvaratskhelia. But with that one, he said we were considering it. He never said we made contact. He never said we were going to make contact. He said we were considering. But this one and the first one, the language in the initial tweet when the interest was first announced, it's very similar to what it was. Liverpool are, just putting their toes in the water a little bit to see if it can be done. And that's what it feels like right now. I think people might be getting ahead of themselves like, oh, we've already got the green light from Isak. I don't believe any of that yet. But what I do feel like you say, Grizz, is we wouldn't even be this far if we weren't encouraged just a teeny bit. And I've always said with this club, just a teeny bit of encouragement is all we need. If we feel like something can be done for a player that's been on our radar for, let's not forget, multiple years, even from when he was at Sociedad, I remember there was links and stuff. So it's not like this name's just been plucked out of thin air because he had a couple good seasons. This is a long-term standing target for us. And I was speaking to him, used to come on them, Grizz, and then Mike comes on him as well. And they were this is squad building, and this is them showing their ambition, and that Isak and Ekitike are going to be in the same team, and he's going to go to a 4-4-2. And I was just, lads, you're living in cloud cuckoo land. If you sign Ekitike, something's happening with Isak, whether it's this summer or next summer. You're not changing to 4-4-2 because why would you? Like, why would you change something that's not broken? That means Joe Linton or one of the other midfielders is going to have to drop out, which he's not going to to do.
Why sign Malanga?
Exactly. 7 attackers now.
Go 4-4-2?
Something fishy is going on here, and I haven't put my finger on what it is yet, but there's a lot happening for me for something.
He said something. He said something behind it. I got slated for doing a TikTok on it, and people were like, "You don't know anything. We're going to play 3-5-2. We're going to rotate."
The situation.
But I was like, look, I'm not being funny. Newcastle aren't daft. They've just signed a new winger. That midfield three is too important to their system. We saw what they did against us in the Carabao Cup. Their whole system relies on that energy in midfield. They're not going to compromise it for another striker up top, and firepower isn't really an issue for them. They know that there is discussions behind the scenes, and this whole move predicates on whether Isak wants the move or not. And by all accounts, everything we're hearing, Newcastle are saying no. That doesn't mean Isak's going the same way.
Before we go on, I'm just going to address this account or this subscriber or viewer. The point is our PSR doesn't allow us to sign Isak because we also need replacement for Diaz, Jota, Konate, Kwanzaa. It's too much spending.
No, that's incorrect.
Futsal America TV, you've been just so negative, man. Like in the chat, like, I've just noticed some of your messages, man. My brother, Google Dave Powell. And Google my very good friend Mo Chatra, and go and read their articles and go and watch their videos, and they'll explain to you far more eloquently than me about how we are absolutely comfortable with our spending.
We're about 100 million comfortable, aren't we? Or maybe even more. Yeah.
So you've got a lovely like, I love your logo, Futsal America TV. I'm sure that means you indicates you got a channel, but come on, do your research, bro, before just spouting stupid negativity for no reason. Like, I understand if you made sense, but you're not making sense. It means you're not up to date with what people in the know about these things have been saying. We have absolutely loads of money, and we're gonna spend it, guys. Because we spoke about it, but we're gonna spend it, and whether it's on Isak, whether it's on Ekitike. Mo, we obviously, like Ben, I think Ben alluded to earlier, we have to balance the books somehow. Not for financial reasons, but for squad balance purposes and numbers purposes. And obviously, today we found out that Luis Diaz was on the receiving end of a bid. Can someone get the exact figures up? People in the chat, quickly, just let me know what I think it was.
58 million, I think.
58 million, something like that. What did you think, man? What did you think about that? Luis Diaz? I told you guys last time we spoke, I wake up feeling differently every day about Luis Diaz's situation.
I think ultimately he's going to get sold. I think Liverpool are playing a long game on this. I don't want him to go. I'd keep him all day long, but if I put the business hat on for a second, and even though we've read reports that Liverpool are willing to let Diaz run down his contract and let him leave free because they want to keep him and he's integral to the team and all that, which is fine. But from a business perspective, you're letting 70 million walk out the door for free in a couple of years' time. And I think there's players out there you can take a gamble on to replace him with. You could even, no, I'm not even going to go down the Wirtz route because that's waste on the left. I was going to say Wirtz and Rio, but no, I think there's players out there that you can probably fill his boots with. But I just think ultimately he's going to go. But for the record, I want him to stay. I don't mind if he stays, but he's. We're led to believe his contract, and his money situation. I think he's going to go, and I think Liverpool are just waiting for that sweet figure of 70 million, maybe. And if they hit 70, that will allow them to go out and possibly get a Rodrigo, maybe, which is the same price, and saving yourself for 4 more years on an age perspective as well. So. But there's definitely going to be some movement, I think, with Diaz. I just don't know whether Bayern apparently coming back with a second bid. So if that second bid goes close to 70, then we might see some. We might sit up, like we've let in a goal. When we let in a goal in FIFA and we suddenly sit up and think, okay, we might have to set up. Yeah, we might have to set up and listen to the offer.
Lewis, are you okay with? Have you changed your mind? Are you toing and froing, or is it time? Because obviously, was it Ornstein? Ornstein tweeted that Luis Diaz has indicated to Liverpool that he wants to leave. For me, if that's the case, if that was true, that's a game changer for me. It's made up my mind that Luis Diaz has to go then if he wants to go. I believe that he doesn't want to go as first option. I think as first option, I think he'd like to stay. But we're obviously not willing to budge in terms of giving him the contract close to what he wants. And so therefore, I think as a result of that, Luis Diaz has indicated that he wants to leave. So I'm 50-50, but if genuinely he wants to go, then obviously he must go.
Yeah.
I'd keep Luis Diaz. But if he hasn't, I want to keep Luis Diaz.
Yeah, we're very fortunate that our 2 options on the left wing happen to be 2 of the best left wingers in the Premier League in Europe, in Gakpo and Diaz. But I think that match against Preston showcased that there's a clear... We're trying different things. We saw Chiesa go out onto the left a bit. We saw Rio and Gamoa be utilised as well. Like you say, I go back and forth on Diaz. On one hand, we've got this very fast, technically gifted winger who's capable of cutting inside and can play through the middle. But on the other hand, we've got someone who runs into danger, goes through big purple patches and then massive gaps of nothing. Contributed majorly at the beginning and the end of last season. And I think from a cost perspective for Liverpool, if it's a case of Diaz's preference is to stay, he's going to need a new contract. Now, does it make a lot of financial sense for Liverpool to extend Luis Diaz, who's 28 years old now, soon to be 29, on a 3-year deal, so to speak? Probably not. You're not going to recoup the same amount of money that I think will be offered now. You're going to have to increase his wages. When, like Mo said, we could sell him on for this amount that were being offered by Bayern, and we could bring in a Rodrigo. We could go out and sign, just for example, a Fofana. There's different options that we could bring in who are going to be here for a longer term solution, who are just as capable in certain departments. And I think if it is a case of he wants to go, fine. No one should be at this club if they do not want to be here and do not understand fully what it means to be in this current squad. We said that with Trent. People are saying it about Konate. There's countless times of it in the past. And I think if the money's right and they come in with a slightly increased bid, I will not lose sleep over losing him. I will be disappointed with how it's ended, but I will not be tossing and turning at night saying, oh, we've just lost Luis Diaz, because we can bring in someone else.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'd say this with Diaz. I think he is a very good player, but I don't think he should get the contract extension. I know maybe that's a bit of a... Can someone mute their mic? I'm getting a bit of feedback, sorry. This is my headphones more likely. Cheers, Lewis. But yeah, I'm going to make the statement. I've been going back and forth on this, and I've seen Grizz's reaction when I said it. Because I actually seen a tweet from you, Grizz, which I think made me realise it, which is that that him and Konate both deserve a contract extension. I sit in the camp of, you deserve a contract extension if the contract extension you're looking for makes sense. In the sense that if I think I deserve a raise at a job and I go in, I think I need this X amount more. If you agree with that, then you say I deserve it. If I walk in and demand 4 times that, I don't deserve that raise. Do I think Diaz deserves to be on a similar wage to what a star striker would be on, or what Salah was on, not previous contract, but the contract before of like a 250 range? I personally don't, because if I'm looking at it from the point of view of 29, he's openly said before, as is his dad said before, that he would like a move at some point. So this is a player that wants to leave at some point, and he's even made it known pretty well now that he does want to leave. He's flirted with other clubs while being here. He's had one very good season in this year just gone by. Previous years, whether it's injuries, whether it's other external factors, absolutely. I wouldn't say he's been brilliant. Has he ever nailed down a position? No. I can't give a bumper contract like that to a player that's ticking those boxes. Now, if he had put up Marnie numbers, different question. If he had put up Firmino numbers, or maybe Firmino consistency, not necessarily numbers, it's a different question. But there was a moment last season where he went 9 games without getting a goal or assist, but he was playing the majority of the minutes. So then I take these factors into consideration, and I find it hard to justify giving him the contract. I still love Diaz. I still like him a lot. But I don't think he is as big a factor in our front line as maybe we feel. I do think his numbers and his performances can be replaced.
Ben, final say comes to you then. Do we agree? We've had a few differences of opinions, and I like it. This is what the Red Room's about. Having absolutely, like when Mike said that, I done the whole Jamie Carragher. Do you remember the moment where?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, as I said, I do to and fro with. I must admit, I do to and fro with Luis Diaz situation. I just wanted Kvaratskhelia to be his replacement. Once he was done, I wanted to keep him. And then Nico Williams decided to stay. So then I said, okay, running out of options to replace him now. And I know people have linked up with Rafael Leao. Forget Rafael Leao, man. Who was the other one on the market?
Rodrigo.
Rodrigo. We're going to touch on Rodrigo. So Ben, where I'm going with this now, segue from what Mo said, Lewis said, Mike said, where are you with the Luis Diaz situation? And then I'm going to ask you guys, okay, if Luis Diaz, you happy to go, who do we bring in?
I think the writing's been on the wall for this for a year, to be honest, because if you remember last summer, you know, there was the whole Anthony Gordon thing, which obviously ended up.
I want to give you some credit first, Ben, before you go on, because you slid into the journalist Pepe Sierra's DMs,
yeah,
right? And he also claimed that Luis Diaz ideally wants to stay. His first choice is to stay and renew his contract with Liverpool. And I actually believe that as well to be the case. So but what Mike said has kind of made sense as well, if you know what I mean. I just put a case forward about, well, listen, I love Diaz, but you know, does it make sense financially from our situation, the age and everything? Go on. Sorry.
Yeah, Pipe's my boy. I've got him on WhatsApp and everything. Yeah, we got on, man.
All right. Sorry, man.
Flex that, Brad.
Personal terms with Pipe. He has blanked me for the last 2 weeks. He has blanked me in the last 2 weeks.
He's just playing hard to Ben. He's just playing hard to get. Don't worry about it, man. Send another man.
Being a tease, man.
Yeah. But
maybe zoom up, maybe zoom in a little.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's why we won't blank you then.
I feel like last summer we tried to get Anthony Gordon, and that was it for me. Like, if we got Gordon, he was going to be the next big like left wing for us. He was going to be the one to go on for the next few. Blah blah blah. Obviously, didn't happen. Diaz has been, like Mike said, flirting with Barca and other clubs for God knows how long. I feel like he loves it here, but I don't feel like it's his, end goal to stay here. And you've got to feel for him in some way, to be fair, because when you look 100%. At what he's earning compared to other players, it does kind of make sense. We love the players that we signed, but new players are coming in and instantly getting double what he's on. So you do kind of understand it from that sense. I'm not saying it's money driven or money orientated, but from that perspective, it kind of makes sense. My only worry is, like you said, Grizz, the options. Who are we signing? Who are we replacing Luis Diaz with? Because I do think Rodrigo is good, but I'm sure he's had his injury problems as well, and inconsistency issues. Could be wrong, but I'm sure that's what I've read. Gordon's had a bad season, but I still think the talent's there, the potential's there, but whether he's worth what Newcastle want is another question. Then you've got youngsters like Malik Fofana, who, if you watched the Lyon Man United game, which I did, everyone was going crazy about Cherky, but for me, Fofana was the standout player in that game. He came on from the bench and tore him a new one. So there's him. There is options, but the way I'm looking at it is, if we sell Diaz this summer, I think it can't be a project player because there's already too much change going on in the team.
There's a whole heap of change, guys. This is madness. This is crazy amounts of change, man, from a title-winning team.
Have an impact, because let's not forget, Mike, I know you said he's had inconsistent seasons and all of that, but that first 6 months before he got injured when he came in, the impact on the team was. So that's what that's what I'm trying to say. Luis Diaz was to go, we need a player to come in and do something similar.
Yeah, look, I get both sides of the story and case. Sorry, I get it, and the pros and cons of Diaz. I just think I don't think we want to make that many changes, man. I don't think we can afford to make that many changes, not from a financial point of view, but in terms of, it's just, I don't think it's ever been done, guys. Someone hit me with a team that's been rebuilt after winning a title and went on to win the title. I might be wrong. Didn't one of Fergie's team do that? Did one of the Chelsea teams do it?
The Arsenal 98, they went through a bit of a thing, I'm pretty sure, when they won the league then.
Lewis, you wasn't born.
I wasn't born. Well, I was born then, 97. Thank you very much.
Slot did this with Bayern, didn't
mate, I can read.
Yeah, but Mo, before you go down the slot route, come on, Mo, don't be comparing the Dutch.
No, I'm just saying he's done it before, hasn't he? As in, he's ripped out a squad and brought in 7-8 players before, and then he ended up winning that league. I'm not comparing.
It's a total different animal, man. It's a total different animal, man. You're dealing with an improving Chelsea, like we've just seen. Man City are going to come strong again.
Arsenal.
Forget Man United for a little while and love it. And Arsenal, yeah. So this is a different animal. I don't know. Look, personally, I'd be concerned with that many changes. We haven't even touched upon the Konate situation, which is a bit complex as well now. So I'd keep Diaz, but if we get an offer for about 70 million, I think 70 million would be no option. But then who are we looking at? Rodrigo. So obviously everybody wants to talk about Rodrigo. Who wants to fire? Who is a Rodrigo fan, man? Put your hands up if there's anything else that you. Anyway, so go on, Lewis. I got go with you then, or Mo. I'll go on, Mo. You stick with. You're not convinced.
No, I just think touching on what I think for Liverpool itself, he's like the perfect profile player because he can play left, he can play right. Slot loves that versatility. Okay, but the counter to what Ben said, he's I think you said, his form's been off and on, which is fine. I totally agree. But to add context to that, he hasn't really started much for Real Madrid since Mbappe's been in the squad. So I still think it's a little bit of a gamble because he's not Prem proven, is he? We don't know what he's going to do in the Prem. But it's still someone I would like to take a punt on because I think there's a player there. I think there's versatility there. And I think if he gets a run of games, he will show that he was that player we wanted to sign back, many years ago. So I am a Rodrigo in, but I am still wary of the fact that there's a lot of variables to go with that.
Mo, can I build on that? Because what I would say, if you look at his stats compared to Diaz's, right? For last season, Rodrigo got 6 goals, 5 assists, right? That was a majority coming off the bench. There's a lot of inconsistencies with him coming in and out. Season before, he got 10 goals and 5 assists when he had a little bit more of a run, a little bit more faith. He's only 24. Exactly. At that age, Diaz could not have done that at that level. Yeah, I look at how he plays as well. He's got the same type of energy. He's got the same type of commitment. I think when people think Rodrigo, they really intertwine him with the likes of Mbappe, Bellingham, and Vinicius. Rodrigo's really not the type of player to throw his hands up, complain, whine, and moan. He does put his head down, he gets on with it, and I like that about him. I think he caused absolute chaos in the Prem. And to be honest, when Arsenal were linked with him, I was concerned because I was like, that is the winger. You get him in, and then suddenly your attack is a lot more dangerous. And listen, if you can get Rodrigo in, you are talking about a player that can play there then for again the next 5-6 years. And then you look at that front line and you go Rodrigo, Isak, Wirtz, Salah. That is insane. So for me, he's a no-brainer, especially if you can get him for 60 million. My God.
Yeah, agree.
Completely agree. We're talking about someone, you look at Slot and what he's done with Salah in the sense of, when he picks up the ball, he's got space to work with, he's best running with it. Rodrigo is one of the best progressive players in Europe nowadays. Like his stats alone from last season, I know stats can be a bit misleading, But in the top 5 leagues, including the Champions League, the Europa Conference League, he's in the top 21% for key passes, the top 30 for progressive passes. Passes attempted is in 12. He's such a... He can either pick up the ball and run with it, or he can pick it up and progressively pass it to someone. He's capable of having a shot at goal. And there were talk of his injury worries before. Over the since 2022, he's suffered 7 injuries. 4 of them have gone down as he was rested for the game. 1 was a fever, and he's only actually had 2 muscle injuries in that time, both of which he only missed 3 matches for one of them and 2 matches for the other one. We're not talking about a Chiesa level issue where he's suffered a major injury and he's having to recover from that. He's someone who, if we did get an Isak or someone who's put in the middle, who's just their sole purpose is to receive the ball and have a go at goal, you're talking about one of the most creatively gifted players from a progressive play in terms of picking it up, running into the box, finding space to work with and passing it off to someone. And I think he'd absolutely flourish in this Arne Slot team in the way of which we play. And I just think we're talking about signing established players like your Verts, like your Kerkers, like your Isaks, these people who have proven it, been there, done that, got the t-shirt. This is a multiple Champions League winning player. This is someone who's played for Real Madrid. This is someone who is playing in one of the greatest teams in the history of football, and he's not performing at a poor standard. He can't get in the team because if you say to Mbappe or Vinicius Jr., right, on the bench, it's not going to happen. He's behind some of the best forwards in world football, and I just think if he was to come to us, we're not going to miss a beat. If anything, we will see Luis Diaz from a few years ago, if not better.
And you know what, Lewis, just to add on that, just one more thing, because I've seen a fella named Vanson there. I've got 2 questions I just want to answer. So he said, why does Xavi Alonso not rate Rodrigo? And he said if Rodrigo's skill and work ethic at this point is about his wages. So just to start with the not rate Rodrigo, I don't think it's that at all. I think what you have there is you have a player that's demanding to be first team now instead of a bit part player, and Alonso cannot guarantee that. And if you look at the Madrid front line, it's very clear as to why there's far too many egos there. He cannot be the main man when you have, I'm going to forget the names here for everybody, but specifically when you've got a Bellingham, Mbappe, Vinicius front 3 that you're trying to work with. He's going to struggle to maintain a starting position in that. And I think he knows that, which is why Madrid have said, listen, we can't guarantee you that. The door's open. If the right bid comes in, you can go. Madrid also need funds. This is one of the reasons they keep trying to get players on fee, for free. They don't have the funds for sales. They're in a ridiculous amount of debt, Madrid. So one of the thing they need to do is just, I'd say, find funds. And the second point regarding his wages being comparative to Mo's, one thing Liverpool are very good at with contracts, I'm sure Grizz can back me up here, is incentive-based contracts. So you will get bonuses to get to the point that, so let's say you demand 250k a week, not a problem. You get 150k as your base. This is a rough, but like 150k as your base, achieve this amount of goals, this amount of assists, help us achieve this trophy, and you'll go 250k, you'll go beyond that very comfortably. And that is how we get a lot of the players we get. For example, Verts is only on 200k a week, 210k a week. I have absolutely no doubt that in his contract, if he achieves certain bonuses, he will hit that 300, 350k through bonuses. You know what I'm saying? On average. So I think that's more likely to be the situation. But I just wanted to throw that in there.
You've thrown that in there, Ben. The wheel comes round to you again in terms of Rodrigo being the Diaz replacement. I think we're all kind of in agreement. I'm the only one who probably wants to keep Diaz at this stage left. But I think the majority are suggesting that Diaz goes. Are you Rodrigo as well? Is there another name that you want to throw out in the mix there? I mean, I'm gonna throw my name out there very quickly and move it on. I think, and I know it splits the fan base right down the middle. I don't give a shit. My opinion is Gordon will torch the Premier League. Torch the Premier League if he came to Liverpool.
Torch. Breakdown torch. Grizz, breakdown torch.
I'm telling you, he will light up. So torch, light up. You get it? So he would light. He would.
I know what it means, Grizz. Come on. What does it mean, though? Like, what are you saying? What are you saying?
No, I'm saying he would light up this league. But the chances of us getting Gordon and Isak is 0. So then the question is, obviously, which one would you prefer out of the two? And we know 90% of the fan base would prefer Isak, but Gordon, people just, this usual stereotypical, he's English, he's British, we would go for the South American flair of Rodrigo. I'm telling you now, Gordon would be far, far more effective. In my lonely, sad, old, bitter opinion. But Ben, Rodrigo's the name on your lips as well. Pause.
Big pause. I'm not Diaz out either, to be honest. I'm just sort of whatever happens, happens. I'm not like Lewis gonna lose sleep if Lucho leaves in the morning. I'm not gonna be celebrating either, like some people probably would on Twitter, but you know, it is what it is. But yeah, probably Rodrigo as well, just on the fact that, you know, I want Isak, and I'm not stupid. I don't think we can do a double swoop for Isak and Gordon from Newcastle. Yeah. I do agree with your sentiment on Gordon, and I'd got a stick from it, you know, for a long time, saying that I'd like him and stuff. I think people hold on to the Everton stuff as well. But at the end of the day, this is his club. This is the club he was at in his academy. I think his family are a lot of them are Blues, but some of them, like his closest ones, are red. So this is his club. Like, he was at Everton for a bit, fine, whatever, but this is his club. But like I say, if we're going to get Isak, there's absolutely no chance. So if Diaz goes, I would probably say, to Rodrigo. There's probably, listen, with these guys, there's names that we wouldn't have even thought of, right? There's players that would just be monitoring. There's probably been players that we looked at for the last 3 seasons that they've been sending scouts to watching all of this. Malik Fofana's a name that I like. He's exciting, but I just feel like he might be too raw for this occasion. If Lucho leaves, like I said, we want someone to come in and sort of, you know, light it up like Lucho did. I know it's hard to remember because that was such a long time ago, but I was at his debut. I don't know if it's his debut. I think it was his first game at Anfield, Leicester City, at 8 p.m. That was one of his first games anyway.
That's the
one. He done everything but score. It was like
Jota got the brace.
I hadn't. You know what? I know Mane was incredible, best left winger I've seen, but I don't think I'd seen a winger play how he played in that game at Liverpool. Like, he was like genuinely different gravy to what we'd seen, like in terms of flair and trickery and stuff like that. But that's what we're saying. If we want a winger to come in and make an impact, it's got to be somebody that's at least on par with Luis Diaz. I don't know who those players are. Maybe it's Rodrigo, maybe it's somebody else, but I trust the guys making the decisions. I'm not one of these people that, you know, demand certain players. Hughes and Edwards, they've proven this window so far that they've got a lot of things right, and there was a lot of doubt at the start of the window as well. You know, I think people having flashbacks to last summer when we didn't really do much. I knew that wouldn't be the case this time around because there was a lot that I don't think Slot was too happy with, even though we won the league. It sounds crazy to say. So I have the utmost trust and respect for Hughes and Edwards and the job that they're doing, and I think we'll all be very happy come the end of the window with whatever they do.
Well, if this happens, we'll be very happy, right? Gags, my very own partner in crime. Check out Chat G&G. We'll be back on Friday. We took a week off as well last week. We'll be back. Miss you, son. He says, getting Isak, Rodrigo, and Gahey, and the league will be shivering with fear. Simple as that, guys. You know, if that happens, then I think. Well, I don't. You know, as I said to you guys privately, I'm not one of these game over type predictors like, oh, we'll run away with this, and you know, football doesn't work like that. Simple as that. But hey, it will be exciting, and that's part of one of the emotions all about football, being excited, right? But I was excited before this show, and I'm still excited, but we must call it a day. I really enjoyed today's show again, guys. That's episode 4, I think, in the can. Lewis, Mo, Mike, Ben, it's been a pleasure as always. I haven't even noticed the time. 1 hour, 10 minutes nearly. We've got probably our best numbers so far as well. 400 watching on YouTube, 5,500 watching on Twitter. And as I said, I don't know on Facebook. It's growing. These guys are obviously popular with you guys. So I'll ask them on again next week. And we'll rack their brains and argue with their opinions and fight them if we need to. But that's what part and parcel of football debate is about. Agreeing, disagreeing, but having the most mutual respect. And we have that. People, Liverpool are looking to do another madness, and we will have every part of breaking news live and exclusive on Anfield Index. Make sure you've subscribed if you haven't already. Like the stream if you haven't already. And go and check out these guys on their socials as well. I believe Jack, who is produces in the background, will have all of their handles in the description as a thank you for contributing. So big up Mike, big up Ben, big up Lou, big up Mo. Make sure you go and check them out. Whether you agree with their opinions or whether you disagree with their opinions, go check them out. apart from that, guys, I think it's time to say goodnight. And yeah, we await another exciting day in the transfer window that was 24-25. This is sensational stuff from Liverpool. Long may it continue. Red Room over and out. Peace.